Carl Jung uncovered something terrifying about narcissists, something that most people never recognize until it's too late. When they finally realize they can no longer control you, they don't just disappear. They unleash one final, devastating manipulation, one that can unravel months or even years of healing in a matter of weeks. And if you don't know how to spot it, you'll walk right into their trap. But before we expose this final tactic, you need to understand the psychological battlefield that leads up to it. Carl Jung once said that a narcissist's deepest fear isn't being abandoned or rejected, it's being outgrown. It's that moment when their target becomes psychologically stronger than them. Jung's work on the shadow self revealed that narcissists constantly disown and project their own weaknesses onto others to uphold their image of superiority. But when you begin to heal, when you start asserting boundaries, trusting your voice, and no longer needing their validation, it creates a shock to their system. Jung called this disruption the power inversion crisis, and this is when things turn dark. See, narcissists don't crave love, they crave control. They feed off the emotional energy of others, needing constant confirmation of their dominance. Jung found that they operate from what he called the inflated ego, a fragile psychological state that demands endless reinforcement. When you were confused, compliant, and craving their approval, you were perfect. You gave them supply. You fed their illusion. But the moment you become self-sufficient and grounded in your own truth, you become dangerous to their identity. That's when they reach for their most manipulative weapon. Jung warned us about this tactic, psychological projection warfare. Here's how it works. At first, they don't attack your weaknesses anymore. They start attacking your strengths. Remember how they used to mock you for being too sensitive or needy? Now they flip it. They'll say, "You've changed, and not in a good way. You used to be so kind. Now you're just cold and selfish. All this healing has made you arrogant." Jung discovered that this tactic isn't random. It's called strength shaming. They begin to shame the very traits that signify your growth. If you set boundaries, you're called heartless. If you speak your truth, you're suddenly aggressive. If you build confidence, now you're full of yourself. But it doesn't stop there. When strength shaming fails, they launch something even more dangerous. Nostalgic manipulation. They start reminiscing, not about real moments, but about the version of you that served their control. You used to laugh more. You were happier before all this therapy. We had such a good relationship before you changed. Jung explained that this tactic is like psychological time travel. It's a trap to pull you backward, to regress you into your old patterns. They're not longing for the real you. They're mourning the version of you they could dominate. And if you're not careful, you'll start missing that version too. That's how powerful this trick is. But even that isn't their final move. When nothing else works, narcissists activate what Carl Jung called their most sinister tool, manufactured vulnerability. Suddenly they're in crisis. They're ill. They're broke. They've lost someone. They're emotionally shattered. And it all seems to happen right when you're doing well. Right when you're finally stepping into your power. Coincidence? Jung said absolutely not. It's intentional. Narcissists are experts at identifying your soft spots, your compassion, your guilt triggers, your urge to help, and using them against you. They may genuinely seem broken, and often they are. But Jung discovered that they carefully choose which pain to show, when to show it, and to whom. And the person they turn to during their crisis, it's always the one who's been trying to escape their grip. And here's where things get chilling. Jung revealed that narcissists often manufacture these crises. They'll sabotage relationships, create chaos in their lives, even put themselves in harm's way just to generate a situation where you feel compelled to step in and fix it. Why? Because it reestablishes control. It sucks you back into the caretaker role. And worse, it makes you betray your own progress. They'll say things like, "I know you don't usually loan money, but I have no one else. I get that you need space, but can't you just talk to me this once? I know you're focused on healing, but I need you right now." According to Jung, every "just this once" is a test. They're not asking for help. They're demanding proof that they still matter more than your self-respect. And if you give in, you're giving up the very strength you fought so hard to build. Jung warned that the most dangerous part of this tactic is that it feels real. The narcissist may truly be in distress, but they have other options, other people they could call, They call you because they know you're the one most likely to sacrifice yourself. So how do you resist it? Jung's answer was clear: differentiated compassion. This means you can care without carrying. You can feel their pain without fixing their life. He said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." And that's your compass. When you're pulled towards saving someone, ask, does this help me become more of who I really am? Or does it drag me back into who I used to be? Because here's Jung's final truth. Narcissists don't just fear your boundaries. They fear what your strength reminds them of, the growth they gave up in favor of control. Every time you resist their manipulation, every time you hold your ground instead of folding to guilt, you're proving the most powerful truth of all. Their power over you was never real. True strength isn't about being untouched by manipulation. It's about seeing it, naming it, and choosing authenticity anyway. Because the moment you stop being controllable is the moment you start truly living. And no crisis, real or fake, is worth trading that freedom away.